security, it goes to belonging, and goes to self-esteem, and finally goes to self-actualization. And if someone at the base level is afraid for their life or their security, and this germ is at the front of that, we'll never be able to convince them otherwise. That's just who they are. It upsets me that we can't all get together on this, but being upset doesn't take away from the fact that individuals, if they're frightened of something and we can't resolve that, and we can't satisfy that which frightens them, they will stand hard and maintain their position and at all costs. And so the biggest thing I've learned is to reach out and help understand what is it you're afraid of, or what is it that's causing you to have this behavior, and can we dig into the root of it and perhaps expose you to some evidence that may help you think that your position may not be as necessary as it is. So again, I seek better explanations to make better decisions to get better results.
Amazing. That's powerful. Now, in regards to I'm going to pull on your leadership abilities here in regards to forecasting. Where do you see the world of coaching, the business of coaching, going in the next 10 years?
Yeah, so coaching is going to, for me, in my world, and my view of it is moving people constantly towards their view of what it means to be self-actualized, getting them to and by self-actualized I mean where they're less dependent on being validated by the opinions of others and more focused on being centered on their own values and their own being able to satisfy themselves. So coaching will go to helping people become more self-sufficient or self-sustaining, or perhaps how can you thrive in a world of people who are fundamentally just demonstrating different thoughts than you are. It's very easy for us as humans to get caught up in sort of the popular media, get caught up in the various efforts to protest, and we don't know where to, information, we don't trust information, or do we trust information? And so coaching will, for me, and where I see it going is helping people to continue to get a sense of self first, and develop their own set of values, and rely less on sort of the external stimuli to develop values that seem to be popular. Popularity doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong. So that I see it developing humans in their own individual strengths, and having them capitalize on relying more on themselves than the outside world.
Amazing self-actualization. What a profound way to forecast the world of coaching, to say that most of our roles will be guiding individuals into that operation of self-actualization. That's powerful. That's absolutely powerful. Mm-hmm. And I thank you for sharing that. There's a lot of individuals I know coming up who want to possibly move in the work, in the purpose of becoming, whether it's a life coach, executive coach. What would be some advice that you would give to the individual who may be listening that want to move in that direction? What is some key things that you could share with them for those that want to move forward?
Sure. First off, coaching is extremely rewarding. You're able to interact and touch people at a very human level, and all the benefits and some of the stresses, I suppose, that go along with that. It is very rewarding. What I would ask of anyone who's considering going into the profession or taking up their own practice is, for the sake of what concern are you doing it? What do you seek? What's driving you? We know from a higher order thinking perspective that you are essentially you want to become something different, and you want to add some value to the world. And what is it about your being that is driving you to do this? How will you know if you're doing well at it? How will you know that it's the thing you should have done? Is it the people you're helping? Is it financial reward? Is it the variation on themes? Is it self-regulated time schedules and calendar schedules and so on? If you have a real clear understanding, coaching is one of those things that the barrier to entry into coaching is really quite low, and there's much to be seen and read and advertised about how to become a coach in 90 days or become a coach and take this class and become a life coach and change your life. It can be very tempting, and for people who are looking to improve themselves and make changes, it can be easy to get caught up in some of the quick and easy solutions. I start way back and say, how do you know what will your self-actualized life look like? Let's describe your life first, and then we can describe how and what you want it to look like, and then we can describe whether we can prescribe and describe whether coaching is going to be helpful to you or not, or any other, or whether or not it'll fit within your plans.
Amazing. That's awesome. I think that you have covered a large area of those who had questions. I think you shared key information for them to apply to make a clear decision on, is this for me? So that work is awesome, how you shared that information. We are now, we're almost to the close of our segment here. You are a coach, you're a leader, you're a business owner, and I would like, if you could, in your own way, as a coach to coaches and leader to other leaders, so many business leaders and coaches went through a lot, right, during this time of COVID and the pandemic. And if you could, in your own way, share a word of inspiration that would add a little bit of gas or empowerment for the leaders and the coaches to close Q4 in a high note. If you could share any word of inspiration or encouragement, I give you the floor to share that with them now that are listening.
Sure. I've got two things that I think that'll add to this thing. First off, with regard to the people around us, those that we agree with and perhaps those that we don't disagree with, I'm going to encourage you to judge. One of the things that we tend to do is we judge people on what we see and what we hear them say. They in fact judge themselves on what their intentions are. So I would actually I would encourage each of you as from a business perspective and as leaders in business to judge people by what they're intending to do, as opposed to sometimes what they're not so comfortably doing by demonstrating it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is persist. Focus on, from a business perspective, focus on what really matters. Focus on what you do better than anyone else. Identify perhaps start by what your passions are. What is it that you as an organization are intensely passionate about? What do you do better than anyone else, and figure out a way to measure that so that you're moving along that path. And that's some borrowed wisdom from Jim Collins and others who write these things. But if you're truly passionate about what you're doing, hang in there. You will find a way to survive. If you're not passionate, you either need to find a way to develop some passion, or perhaps look for a way to exit and move on to another endeavor. Because the truth is, we don't get to pick what we like to do. We don't get to pick our passions. They just are our passions. We're attracted to those things that we're attracted to for the reasons that only our brain can understand. And so if you're feeling unattracted to what's going on, move on and find something that really draws you in.
Love that. That was powerful. The passion piece. The passion piece is key. And you share that, and I believe that it is passion. And I agree with you 100% that if you are passionate, that will serve as your fuel to continue to move forward and what it is that you feel like your work or your purpose is. So passion is that key ingredient. So we're getting ready to close out, but I would like for you to share with the listening audience how they can connect with you before we close out the segment. So tell us how the audience can find you.
Well, you can visit my website. It's www.lespostnikoff.com. I'll spell that LESPOSTNIKOFF.com, or on Instagram at lespostnikoff. So either way, on my website or on Instagram.
Amazing. Everyone, thank you for taking your time today to tune into the Sean Inspires podcast. Do plug into this expert, Les. He has amazing skills and amazing master tools that will enhance your life. And so do feel free to share the podcast with your community, with your friends. And as always, as I close with every client and with the listening audience, stay strong and stay inspired. Until next time. Bye now. Thank you for tuning in.